Everyone talks about how affordable and beautiful Northeast Tennessee is, but today, Shad and I are going to talk about the things that may catch you off guard, the hidden downsides of living in Northeast Tennessee that no one talks about, but we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah. We reached out to a lot of our out-of-state clients that have already moved here, and this is a short list of some things that came out of that. You ready to start?
I am. What you got?
All right, number one on this list, we have hidden downside, walkability and public transit. There's basically, in a nutshell, there's not a lot of it here.
Yeah, that's true. I looked up the score for Johnson City on Walk Score. That's just one site that you can go to. And Johnson City got a 26 out of 100, so that's not great. And I looked at Johnson City because it is the largest town in the Tri-Cities with a population of 75,000. And then I checked on public transportation and it didn't even have a rating for that because it's pretty limited. There's some buses, they don't travel on Sundays. It's mostly like until 6 o'clock or even 5 o'clock during the week. So very limited. Now, the one thing we've noticed several times, people will reach out to us from out of state. They want to move in the downtown area or somewhere in the city, and they want to walk to everything. They don't want to drive their car.
Well, we do offer that. I mean, obviously, in the city life, you have sidewalks and a lot of access to different areas of the city. Planned communities, subdivisions, a lot of walkability in certain areas like that. What we have here is, the more rural countryside that we offer, the slower change of pace that we offer in this area. When you start stretching out from that core, becomes a little problematic for walkability purposes. So it's kind of, if you want to be out in the countryside, starting your own little mini farm or having a garden or two, like we've talked about in our last video, you're going to give up the walkability side of things. So you're going to have a give and take if you want to be out in the countryside more.
Yeah, a lot of scenario, we see this scenario quite often. Hey, we want 5 acres because we want a pole barn, garden, chickens. Oh, but my wife, by the way, likes to walk 3 miles a day. And that can be an issue because the rural roads are narrow, there's no shoulder or little to no shoulder, so it's really not safe for walking. Now, the positive side is there are plenty places to walk, like you said, in town, sidewalks. Even some of the country neighborhoods have sidewalks. But we have, like the Tweetsie Trail, the Greenbelt, Kingsport, Forest Path State Park. I could go on and on. There's plenty of places to walk, but you might need to get in your car and drive there. This is a place where you're mostly going to be driving your car. It's not like New York where you can walk out of your apartment and go to the dentist, go have something to eat, and go to the theater. You might be able to check a couple of those boxes off from your house, but it's an area that you probably want a car. So number 2, big city amenities. Well, this area is growing quickly and we're seeing more and more businesses. You've been here, 10 years?
11 years now. Yeah.
And I'm close to 20 years. So it's changed a lot. There's so much here to do, and restaurants and shopping. But what's the downside for some people? No Costco, no Trader Joe's. If you want to go to that designer store to buy your Gucci bag, that kind of thing, we don't have that. We don't have that kind of stuff here. We don't have the big megaplex like sports stadiums, Top Golf. I know I sound negative. We don't have this, we don't have that. But we have a lot of things like tiebreakers. We're getting a Dave & Buster's. We have the Hard Rock Casino, the Bristol Motor Speedway, unlimited outdoor sports. But if you compare us to a larger area, what's our population for the 7-county area?
We're right around 550,000, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so it's not a real populated area. So there's a little give and take. For that quieter lifestyle, you're going to have a little less big city amenities.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really super excited about that IMAX coming. That's actually going to open in July, in a couple months. And then we even had an announcement recently for Culver, so a lot of you from the Midwest specifically would know Culver's. But stuff like that's still happening. We're still getting a lot of new restaurants and businesses all the time. Yeah. Number 3, limited business hours was brought up from some of our clients, and that's true. It seems like, well, I guess we'll call it the Chick-fil-A effect. Not much is open on Sundays here.
Well, there are businesses. You can still go out to eat. You can still go to the mall and things like that. But there are a lot of businesses. For instance, in some of the smaller towns, mom and pop businesses that are open, you know, maybe breakfast and lunch, Monday through Friday. Then there's businesses that are open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some that aren't open on Sunday. So you can get frustrated sometime. You really need to pay attention to the hours. So you don't make plans and you get there and it says closed. We don't have, you know, all these really late night businesses and 24-hour businesses. There's a few here or there. So the business hours are more limited here.
Sure.
And that takes getting used to. We have heard a few people, you know, disappointed about going to maybe Annie Ruth's or Troyer's or something like that, and they weren't open on Sunday. So we're just warning you. Okay, number 4, allergies. Northeast Tennessee has a pretty high pollen count, and in fact, we're only about an hour or so from Knoxville, and it's rated 21 in the U.S. as being the worst area for allergies. So if you have issues with allergies, that's something you may want to pay attention to. Is that going to be a big problem for you here? We talked to a lot of buyers that they did have some issues with allergies, but they use air purifier, medication. I know I did for some time, and now I'm not using that. We even had a few people that said they actually felt better here. They had allergies, but they don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I've never had allergy or a problem with allergies myself. I have been on a golf course and have seen the big green cloud of pollen go by, so it's a real thing. And also you're going to need to wash your car a few times during the pollen season as well, because your car will turn a little tint of green.
Well, and the trade-off is the beautiful grassy rolling hills and all the trees and flowers, you know, hence the allergy issues.
Yeah, it's still very beautiful here for sure. Number 5, going to more green stuff. 5, lawn maintenance. From March to October, you will be mowing your yard. And generally it's at least once a month, and even during the prime time when we're getting a lot of decent amount of rain and temperatures are great and it's growing well, you could probably mow every 4 or 5 days, but a minimum of once a week for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of you may be looking for acreage. So that's something to keep in mind, because you're going to be sitting on the lawn more longer, or you're going to be hiring someone. We had dinner with 3 couples that we worked with that have moved here, and they said, "Shad, you didn't tell us we're going to be mowing all the time." So yeah, we live with that. Our lawn is mowed on Mondays, and by Fridays it looks like it needs to be mowed again. So something to think about.
Yeah, sure.
Number 6, the terrain. Pictures don't always tell the whole story, and when you're looking at the MLS at a house, it looks great, but you know, we've got that hilly terrain, we have all the mountains, so that's something to think about. Steep driveways, lawns, or acreage that's not sometimes very usable. If you're wanting to build, you know, a pole barn or add a pool, what would it be like for a delivery truck to get up to your house? I lived in a house, you know, the house I lived at out by the lake. The movers had to go up the neighbor's driveway and haul all the stuff to the house. That was very expensive. So those are things to think about.
Yeah, sometimes you can see the scrape marks on the bottom of the driveway from people's cars bottoming out. So yeah, we pay attention to that. This is obviously very important for a lot of people when it comes to the terrain here and getting used to it. Even people from mountainous areas, like I know people from Denver and Salt Lake City, and generally their area where they live is pretty flat. It's the mountains in the background, obviously, they have the slopes and the hills. But here, not only do we have the mountains, but we have a lot of hills and ridges and stuff throughout the valley. So slope and that type of thing is something we definitely have to take into consideration, but it's part of the charm as well.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Which leads to the next one is actually one of my favorite things to do around here is it's back road driving. So I like to get on the back roads here. I absolutely love it. But for some people, it can be a little bit shocking that our roads can be a little bit on the narrow side, and you've already brought that up a little bit. Not a lot of shoulder places to get off the road kind of thing. So you got to pay attention, which leads to the world that we live in now with the people are always on their phone and stuff. It can be, sometimes a little shocking to people driving on the back roads and coming around a curve and someone is already coming your way in your lane because they're not paying attention. But that is something that is a little bit of a surprise to people moving here.
Yeah, lots of twists, turns, elevation changes. Imagine driving on those roads when there's snow or ice. Not that we have that much snow or ice, but that is something to think about. And I think it's something to consider. Let's say, a lot of people move here because they're retiring. And are those the kind of roads that you want to drive on as we're getting older to get to everything? Or maybe you have kids that are just starting to drive. Now, it's not like the movie The Shining where they're driving up the mountainside, maybe at Mountain City, some of those areas, but it's something to pay attention to. Oh, and the back roads are dark. I noticed that moving from Fort Lauderdale where everything has street lights. Oh my goodness, I'm so scared because you're used to street lights everywhere, but you get used to it. I promise you'll get used to it.
Sure.
Number 8, weather. Well, a lot of people move here because of our 4 moderate seasons, so that's great. They're trying to escape, the Northeast or Florida. So they're happy to have 4 seasons, but not too much of anything. But winter can be a little unpredictable. Do you have any comments about that?
Well, it can. Well, so let me go back to what I know. Again, I like to golf, and I've said that a million times on this channel. In the Midwest, you put your golf clubs up in October, you bring them back out in April, and even then you're dealing with a lot of rain and wetness in the ground and stuff, so it's muddy and it's just like 5-6 months a year is just not fun. But here, even though we have all 4 seasons, I've been golfing day after Christmas when it's 70 degrees, so we do have that up and down. But also I feel like if you want all 4 seasons, I can't name a better place to be, because you just talk about just going a little bit farther north of here and we have a little more snow in the winter. You have a little more of the ice and the coldness. You go a little bit farther south and you get the deep heat of the south. And so I really feel like even though we have all 4 seasons, it's just perfect for me.
Okay, now some buyers say it's not perfect for them, and I'm one of the people that gets cold in the winter. Of course, I'm the person that sits in front of the TV year long with a blanket on them. But what you'll see for our winters, this is what some buyers said were kind of the downside about Northeast Tennessee, is you could have freezing cold temperatures. It could be 65 degrees the next day. We're in the 40s. It could be a little gray. But so for some people, and probably depending on where you're moving from, that's an adjustment. But like I always say, just about when you're sick of it, it's your kind of weather again. And the other thing would be humidity. And this really comes up more with people that move from Arizona, Nevada, Southern California. We do have, humidity here. More about July, August is when you get into the higher humidity. So, some people say it's a little more humid than they expected, but definitely not if you move from Florida.
Right. Not hard to convince people from Florida that it's not humid here. Housing costs, this has impacted everybody everywhere. This isn't a Northeast Tennessee thing at all. But we have seen a significant increase in housing pricing in our area. But again, it's all from inflation and appreciation on top of that as well because of the demand of living here. But when it comes to still dealing with averages and dealing with where your other options might be around the country, we're still very affordable here.
Yeah, and then when you put into that calculation, no state income tax, lower property tax, hey, lower fuel costs at this point. It is a more affordable area. I'll throw the fuel cost in, but for your car. But yeah, so a lot of people are saving money with their houses, even if they're paying similar price. But many areas, it still is lower.
We're still very affordable.
Yeah. But it can be surprising to some people.
It can be.
You know, if there's, you know, you're looking for, I want 5 acres, a newer house, mountain views, an outbuilding, and I want to pay $350,000. Those days, we want to do that too. Believe me, we want to do that too. So those days are over, but it's still very affordable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 10, fewer restrictions. Now, I guess the downside of that is, you know, you're moving here, you have less rules and regulations. A lot of people are moving from states that have a lot of those. We have a lot more freedom here. But let's say you live out in the country and, you know, you really have no deed restrictions or anything, but maybe your neighbors don't either. You know, you're living, you know, on your land, all rainbows and butterflies, but there's a lot going on next door. So that could be a downside.
Yeah. I mean, some restrictions can be good too.
Yeah.
But here's an example. I had a client. They moved here from California. They moved into a subdivision. It didn't have an active HOA, so there wasn't any HOA fees. But there's some deeded type restrictions that you can't do with your property. Can't turn it into commercial property, stuff like that. Anyway, the number of pages, there were 6 pages to these restrictions and covenants. It wasn't just restrictions, it was everything about the subdivision, 6 pages. He said he hadn't seen anything below 100 pages from where he came from. So that was a shock to him that, less intrusion from government and entities that want to tell you how you can live your life. So that's definitely one of the freedoms that people here really love and enjoy.
Yeah, they do. Sometimes it just takes some getting used to if you're from an area that you're used to having a lot of restrictions.
Yeah, absolutely. And then last on our list here is recycling, or lack of recycling, if you will. Johnson City, I know, still offers curbside recycling, but most of the cities, municipalities around here have done away with it from a curbside standpoint because the economics of it. They say it's just no money in it to be made. It's costs too much and a burden then on the taxpayers to pay for it. But we do have a lot of drop-off sites and stuff around the counties around here and around the towns and cities where you can drop off a lot your cardboard and your plastic and a lot of the drop-off points. You'd be amazed with the list of things you can actually drop off. As long as you're a citizen within that county, you can drop off batteries and all kinds of glass and steel and again car parts and all kinds of things that you can actually drop off there as well for free.
Yeah, and Chad's in charge of the recycling at our house, taking it, and I'm in charge of making it.
We need to stop ordering stuff on Amazon because that pile builds up really quick. But yeah, I'm in charge of the cardboard.
I'm going to add one more.
Oh, okay.
Number 12, friendly people. If you don't want to know your neighbor, you don't want somebody opening the door for you. If you're a Scrooge, you're not going to like all the friendly people here in Northeast Tennessee.
That's true. I mean, I have tons of people say that where they come from, they never knew their neighbors. They never even, met some of their neighbors, or they did, but they never talked to them or ever see them. And so there's no interaction there. And people here, it's just totally opposite.
Yeah, I mean, we have people, I pulled over on the side of the road to look at my map and somebody pulled over behind me to help me, or, you're out in the parking lot, like, can I take your cart for you? Can I help you? So I get, it's not really a negative, but I just thought I would throw that in there. If you don't like friendly people, you're not going to like Northeast Tennessee.
No.
So there you have it, several downsides, several hidden downsides that people don't always talk about, when you're living here in Northeast Tennessee. But I think you'll see it's nothing crazy.
No.
Some things may be important to you. Others you might think, whoa, that's a positive. But the one thing we did notice when we reached out to our out-of-state buyers that have moved here, They all agreed there were some downsides, but they would not leave Tennessee. They love living here in Northeast Tennessee. I'm Stephanie and this is Shad. We're with the Freck Group at Greater Impact Realty. Our team specializes in helping people like you that are moving to Northeast Tennessee. So if you have questions, and we know you do, give us a call, text, or email. A member of our team would be happy to help you. And like we always say, it's never too soon to start planning your move. We hope to see you here in Northeast Tennessee.